Welcome back to Man Feud's podcast. It's your boy Ryan White hosting the podcast today. I got two guests with me. I got my boy Aiden, and I also got my father, Robby White. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Good. And you always have to say the Robby White. There's only one.
And the Robby White. Gotcha. First off, I want to start off with Najee Harris. I know that he's been kind of a topic for controversy over the last 2 years. Starting off with Aiden, I mean, what's your thoughts on Najee Harris right now? Would you trade him? Would you keep him? What should people do? What do you think?
I would say one of the things is I'm not necessarily, super afraid of Jaylen Warren just because, he is a factor and he is, getting some time. But at least with Najee, it's not as much, as much as people like to dog on Najee for either just not being good or, this and this. I should pull up the stat to actually be 100% correct, but I do recall, I think he's either sitting last or near the bottom of yards before contact. So it's basically his line also. It's got a PFF grade of the average is of 58. I mean, it's awful. His line is not doing any, they took Broderick Jones, tried to beef up that line. It's not working. So I think, for now, especially, I guess for the short term, if that's what we're looking at, I think Najee, I don't know, unless you've got a better player available to start over him, I guess you kind of have to either start him. He's looking like either a flex or a running back 2 at best. And I don't know if that's going to do it for you, especially because he's getting I got to pull up stats real quick, but I remember he had 14 touches or something. And I know he had the 14 touches last week. I think he definitely out-snapped Warren. I think I'm almost positive he did. And so I think it's at least one of those things that there's some room for positivity. But I think right now if you have a better option, you probably, you either play that other option or you kind of have to sync with Najee for until they can get that line figured out.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any other player that goes as the team goes, right? The Steelers are playing well, Najee's probably playing well. If they're doing bad, he's probably having a terrible game. I think the one thing we can't, kind of forget is this is a guy that's had more than 1,000 yards rushing the last couple of years. And, the Steelers are probably on a little down right now, and that's going to affect his overall performance. And so, again, I think the Steelers missed the playoffs, and Najee probably misses 1,000 yards for the year for the first time in a few years.
Yeah. Well, he's only been playing for, I think, his third season. Started out first season, was amazing. Came out looking lights out with Ben Roethlisberger at QB. But in the last 2 seasons, he's been up and down. He hasn't been the greatest running back. And I know that's not his fault. Like Aiden said, it's kind of the line. The O-line's not really working out too well. You got Matt Canada, who has been under fire for the last 2 seasons. I know that that's been pretty controversial with him being at the offensive coordinator position with the Steelers. So there's a lot of factors into it. But if you're a fantasy manager who has Najee Harris, this is for both of you guys, would you guys trade him right now or, maybe keep him, see how he does? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, just either keep him or trade him. Aiden.
All right. So, if you're passing this on to me, at least right now, I mean, what are you gonna get out of him for the most part? Like Robby, throw me out. If say I had Najee, right? For some reason you wanted to I'll do the opposite. What would you in what range of player do you think you would give up Najee for? Would you go let's just say
I would send Najee for a Keenan Allen, right? I would try to get high value.
I would not do that. That's not a good trade.
Hey, I give my David Njoku for a Travis Kelce.
What about?
That doesn't mean they're going to take.
Yeah, let me just say.
What about Najee? If someone sent you Najee for Puka, would you do it? You'd consider it.
No, I don't think I could. I don't think I could.
Of course,
not producing.
The guy has your boy Puka. I don't know how you knew he was going to blow up this year, but
no, I picked him up first week. I was so mad.
500 yards receiving his first 4 games in the NFL.
He served me to a honorable 3-1, and now he served his time, and now he's off my team. Yeah, I was wondering, some sort of congratulations on the trade, Aiden. That was a great trade.
Dude. I was so mad because I was yes, he got another running back. This is what you do every single year. you pick up these guys and then you trade for high level players, and I'm jealous.
It's great. It worked out this year. I didn't think I was bad at Kyron Williams. That would probably have been even better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we got to go back. Like, is he always doing these deals where he gets amazing players from Chris Lamer?
Yes,
the same guy
he's not every year,
year,
man. He's not every year, and
goes to
somehow Chris
Lamer.
always falls for it.
Who knows? I wanted to see what that messaging looks like. Dude, you're gonna blow up with this trade, dog.
What's crazy? You know what's crazy is that I texted Chris like 2 weeks early. And I was like, hey, could I get Bijan somehow? And he was like, nah, I'm not really looking to trade. Bijan, he's like my first pick. And I was like, okay, that's respectable. And then he goes out and trades with Aiden 2 weeks later. I'm like, what just happened?
I needed it. I needed that type of running back in me, because I was looking at Robby. It was between, I was looking, that trade that we had talked about. It was Pacheco and James Cook for Stephon Diggs, and I was going to get like Algier back.
I was ready to pull the trigger. I was ready to pull it. If you
I know you were. You probably would have been, because you would have won that trade probably right there. I mean, you getting two running backs that are better probably than both your starters. No offense, but two startable.
I like Cook and
Boothe also liked Cook. He was offering me trades left.
If they're up 27 points every game, he's going to be getting the rock. The entire second half.
Aiden sent me a good trade too. He sent me what was it? It was like Cooper Kupp and Isaiah Pacheco for Austin Eckler, and I was like, I probably should have taken that one. I didn't take it.
Here's two names that I want to talk about. So you've got Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, and Jonathan Taylor. So we just got news that Jonathan Taylor's back, and he's going to be playing. The Colts are ready to unleash. This is a guy that was first round draft pick last year, right? Like, this is a big time fantasy football running back. So he's back in the mix. But then you have Aaron Jones and Austin Eckler, first rounder, second rounder running backs, both on Ryan's team. Both have been hurt the last 2 weeks. Yeah. And now one of them's coming back, and he's like scared to death of starting him, because last week Aaron Jones had 1 point. The Green Bay Packers starting running backs combined for 2 points.
Well, here's the problem. Here's what I didn't realize. So, going into that week, I was like, if Aaron Jones plays, I'm going to start him. Like, no matter what. And what I didn't realize is that they had him on snap count. And they don't tell you that in the fantasy football news.
That's what
always gets me so mad, is because, they say, yeah, he's going to play, but then they don't say, hey, he's going to be on snap count. So, you know what? This week, it's probably going to be the same thing. If he plays, he's probably going to be on snap count, which means A.J. Dillon's probably going to get some carries.
I don't know, man. They need him desperately. Their offense needs a spark, and I think he's the spark they need, because if they overload on the defensive back to cover the receivers, Dobbs, and they've got that other guy. Natalie's got both of them, right? Reed, I think, is that his name? Something like that.
Reed.
Yeah. So they've got like some speedy guys, but if they're loading up the defensive backfield because they know that their running game, is nothing, then their offense is nothing, right?
I would like to, I'd like to add that I think, like the addition of now Christian Watson, who's the deep threat. I mean, he's their best receiver, right? Deep ball guy. I mean, that'll if the boxes were as stacked as it's the results have been showing, I would like to say, I think that's probably a positive thing. Of course, it's positive to have both Christian Watson and to have Aaron Jones, I think, because he'll definitely benefit from one of the bad thing was Bakhtiari. I believe, I don't know if he's left tackle. I can't remember which position he plays, but Bakhtiari, is it left tackle?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's also out for the season, which doesn't help. But you get one positive for Aaron Jones. Maybe opening up the box a little bit more, and with Christian Watson, and you get one negative with Bakhtiari being out. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why they're not trying to play Aaron Jones that much, is because they're trying to keep him long term, throughout the season. They're trying to play him as much as they can, which I respect. I understand. But from a fantasy football manager perspective, my instincts are telling me, hey, this guy, and this week he ain't gonna get too many touches.
I don't know. If I had him, I would start him. Hands down.
Of course I'm I mean,
I've got
I'm definitely gonna start him. That's for sure.
I'm desperate for running back. Like I have Khalil Herbert, who he finally blows up in the first half, right? And then he's hurt. And then their whole oh my gosh. I just
Yeah,
can't get a break
everyone,
with running backs.
everyone's hurt. Yeah, like you see all like their three. They had to run with the fullback. I think that's what it was. They were running with the fullback as their running back because they had three starters injured.
Unreal. Unreal.
So one more guy. I mean, another guy I want to talk about real quick is Devon Achane from the Miami Dolphins. He blew up. I mean, I know Chris picked him up on waivers, which was a pretty lucky pickup from him.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But I mean, you have Jeff Wilson Jr. coming back. You also have Raheem Mostert, and now Devon Achane. I mean, what's that going to look like? Do you guys think Devon's going to keep this going, or do you think he might have to slow it down a little bit?
I don't know how many people you can, feed in that backfield. Those are all three like legit RB1 guys, Mostert, Wilson, and Achane. So I don't know how their offensive, minded team is going to do with. I mean, they've got so much speed. They can't put up 70 points every week, right? Like that's not a reasonable thing. So I feel like they need to like trade one of those guys out to get some value, maybe more on the defensive side to balance out their crazy offensive firepower.
Yeah.
I think what you have on this is I have to double check, of course, but I think with Jeff Wilson, I think he's still on IR. Am I wrong? Yeah, so this was his week. He was supposed to return, right? The fact that they've left him on there is what I'm kind of getting at, of course, is that, so I think if all these statistics are just from my head, hearing it somewhere else, but I think, and I also know it's true, if it's not the exact number, I know Achane, he's been getting his like yards per carry is like 11. Like it's like he's getting like 11. I mean, that's not sustainable. Like you can't, of course, first of all, you can't, it's not sustainable to keep at the pace that he's been going. You're not going to always be up. You're not going to play defenses that are allowing 11 yards per carry, right? He had like I think it was 8 touches, 100 off the top of my head, of course, once again, but 8 touches or 8, rushes with like 101 yards and like a touchdown. Like that's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
He had 8 carries for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Off the dome. Look at that. Yeah, I think with there you go. Okay, there you go. Pull it up. All right, nice. Well, yeah, I think with at least Jeff Wilson, I think what they're going to do with him is they're probably the fact that he hasn't been like taken off IR, they're probably you've got 2 running backs who are obviously performing better than what you thought, so they might keep him on there until there's no reason to rush him when you've got Achane and Raheem Mostert playing as well. But I also think that I think Achane, I believe he outsnapped Mostert last game for I think I think it's the first time of the whole season, which could be
let me tell you a stat that I think is phenomenal. So across an entire career, the running backs with the highest yards per carry NFL history, the top 5, anyone want to guess like the top 5, like ultimate superstar, football, baseball, greatest athlete of all time, maybe Bo Jackson.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So Bo knows football. And then second, crazy stat here, Jamal Charles, your Chiefs guy.
Yeah. Oh, I think I've seen this. I think
number 3 all time 500 minimum attempts, Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
His yards per carry, Achane sustainability, 10 yards per carry, not sustainable, but he's dynamic enough that, give him 500 carries. Maybe we're talking about him being in that top 10 list. Aaron Jones is also in that top 10, Ryan, along with Jim Brown, Nick Chubb, Gus Edwards, and Jonathan Taylor. So,
okay.
Wow. Interesting. Those are some interesting names. All right, Gus Johnson and Bo Jackson, of course, two very similar, in scale and everything. Right, that's what I tend to think of. The top 2.
I thought I'd see Barry Sanders up there, but he's kind of.
I would have guessed Barry. I mean, he probably didn't play. Probably a reason he retired early.
But his team was so bad, he'd get 25 carries and get 125 yards. He'd average 5 yards a carry, but this 5+ yards per carry for a career. Jim Brown was it until all these offensive firepower offenses started getting created in the 2000s, the 21st century, offense, made for TV, greatest show on earth, right? Kurt Warner kind of started this whole thing.
Yeah.
Warren Moon before him, these amazing offenses. So anyways, cool.
One more thing, another thing I want to talk about. So we have a situation down in San Francisco. We got two amazing wide receivers. We got Deebo Samuel and Brandon Aiyuk. They kind of been switching every week. Like, who's the better guy? They've been switching every week. I know this last week, Deebo got 0 points. Brandon Aiyuk got like 20 in PPR and then 14 in non PPR. So if you're looking just to like at those two guys, which guy do you think is going to be more reliable down the stretch in fantasy?
I don't know. Neither of them. If Christian McCaffrey's in the offense, because that guy, I hate your brother, Liam. Aiden, like he's got the best, MVP so far for the year player. BMAC, and
good pick.
I don't know. I mean, my tight end George Kittle can't get any catch.
Yeah. That's a similar situation.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Tough.
So here's the cool thing. Aiyuk has like 17 receptions on the year, all of them for at least a first down, and then I think like half of those are for touchdowns. It's like crazy stats. So I'd probably say Aiyuk as far as receiver goes, but
I've heard this as well. I can somewhat half back it up. Hey, same thing.
Okay.
Off the dome. I did very little preparing apparently compared to your dad.
Yeah. This is real deal info for sure.
Okay, what about you? What do you think, Aiden? Do you think
I think
or Aiyuk?
I would choose McCaffrey, but that's not an option here. But of course, with the two, and I think you're, Robby, I think you've felt a bit of the pain with Kittle as well. I can understand that. I think at least the last game, I would for the rest of the season, I would probably lean Deebo. I think you get both probably the same quality of targets probably between Deebo and Aiyuk. You probably get the same amount of targets, right? But then with Deebo, although they're not doing it as much this year, you still have the possibility of he'll maybe squeak out like 3 rushing touchdowns this year, right? But that's more than I'd say Aiyuk would get, and I would also tend to lean Deebo. I mean, they're paying him the wide receiver 1 money, and I think regards to last week with his. It was more of course, you're playing the Cardinals. First of all, if you can't beat the Cardinals without Deebo, I think that's kind of why they, with Deebo, they knew Deebo was injured going into the game. He was more of a decoy than anything else. I think that's kind of what, and that wasn't really said. And I think that's why kind of people got burned on playing Deebo last week, especially, him being hurt. And then, they kind of throw him out there and, he's playing, 50% of what he normally is. He's probably not going to hit the ball, especially when, McCaffrey running it, you don't need him. So I think, last week's kind of a fluke. I think it's more of his health. I think his health for next game, if he's healthy, and they're playing Dallas, and so they're going to definitely need him. So I think this is going to be a better game, and I would still take probably Deebo over Aiyuk for the rest of the season. Not that Aiyuk's a bad player, but
I like that. I think it's the right call. I would probably, what's crazy is like if we start talking about quarterbacks, right? Like if you said, okay, who would you rather have, Stroud, Richardson, or Joe Burrow? It's like
Richardson.
Joe Burrow is not even in the conversation anymore. Like, Bengals suck so bad.
Yeah, I love it. I'm all for it though.
Yeah, Stroud is good.
I think why the Bengals are sucking so bad is because for most of the time, Burrow has been hurt. Okay, he's been playing with that bad.
That's true.
I'm just saying he's been hurt most of the time, so you gotta give the guy a break at least, once in a while.
But at this point, I'd rather start Dobbs than freaking Burrow. Like you
should probably start almost anybody over Burrow at this point. I don't want to say, of course, this it's not like it's one of those things where I probably Joe Burrow, but even pre-injury, of course, he probably would not have been. He was not on my radar. He was almost a complete pass for me because I think taking him on taking him as right after you got it went Mahomes, Allen, then Hurts, then Lamar, then Fields / Herbert, and then Burrow at 7, right? And I don't think I would have taken Burrow. Burrow adds almost nothing to his, to legs, of course. His legs are almost a non-factor, so you get almost zero rushing capability. And I'm also a little bit of a Bengal hater, which, being a Chiefs fan, I think, all the trash talk last year definitely helped. But it's not that it's not bad. It's not that he's not a good quarterback, because he's, of course, top 3 in the league, however you see it. But I think for fantasy reasons, he's not necessarily he's not a fantasy. His real life play is not comparable to his fantasy. Yeah. Of course, now that he's injured, it's more of a handicap, and he was already a non-factor in running, and now he's taking sacks. He's getting the ball out, I think, in like a record time that he's ball receiver is like within a couple seconds, and it's something that they've been more of a vertical a vertical threat with T. Higgins. You've got Jamar Chase, you got both those two who he just throw 40-yard bombs to, and now he's getting the ball out and getting like 5-yard, average depth of target is like 5 yards or something like that. It's something insanely low compared to what he's normally done.
Yeah, well, the thing that
he needs Deebo Samuel.
he needs just to hand it off or something.
Right.
The thing that I'm like confused about is that, I had Joe Burrow last year and he was fine. He was fantastic actually for me. I just don't understand like what changed, like I'm not sure why he's not playing the same as he was last year. I know he's been injured and that's a factor, of course, but even whenever he was injured last year, he still got like 20 points a week,
It does seem like there's something going on there in Cincinnati. No one
not sure
knows it. Usually with these NFL deals, they handle things in-house. So if there's a problem, people are fighting for whatever, like who knows, but it's just, like Aiden said, it's a problem I don't even care to even worry about, because I don't like the Bengals either.
Yeah,
I'm a 49ers fan.
Yeah. There you go.
I like beating up on the Bengals as much as I can too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think this week T. Higgins is out, of course.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna have Jamar Chase by himself, which means he's probably gonna have a big week.
I agree.
Yeah. We got our league isn't PPR. Like I'd go.
Yeah, I'm playing against him in my PPR league, and so it's not going to be a good week if I get.
I hate PPR because it's like so difficult. I've had to get used to, because I've played in our league for like 8 years now, only PPR, only non-PPR, right? And then this is the first year where I'm putting money into a league that's non-PPR, or that is PPR. It's non. It takes a little bit to get used to, but a lot of money too. And if you're talking money,
it's like $1,000 winners, $1,000, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
20. I think each week highest score wins $20.
Wow, I like the format. That's kind of cool.
Nice.
It is nice, yeah, because then everyone's like actively trying to play.
Yeah, even down to the last whatever week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can always win. You can. Even if
it's not like Boothe and his dad trading the week before the final trade line. And his dad's already out of the playoffs.
I still remember that. That's crazy. That made me so mad that week.
He such a bad trade too. Like he should.
It was Baker Mayfield for Joe Mixon. Are we gonna? It was pretty obvious. I remember it. I still remember, because it hurt me so much. I was so butthurt about that.
I got. You know how many texts I got about
that? It was ridiculous.
I had to say, listen. Usually karma plays out here, and guess who was right? Me. He didn't finish in the top 3 that season last year. So thank God for that, because I would have hated to been burned by not like vetoing the trade.
Yeah, he had the best team too, and so it's just like it was adding it was like adding something to make it better. I was like,
Boothe watches this. We'll just say, Boothe, you're horrible. He texted Anna 14 times today. He's like, okay, I'll give you CJ Stroud for Waddle straight up right now. And I'm like, Anna's like, she double checks everything, even like
he's like, what am I
emails before emailing a professional. She's like, well, I know I don't want to give anyone away, but I just want to let you know, like, Boothe is telling you to trade Stroud for Waddle.
Stroud for Waddle. Wait, that was the trade?
Straight up.
It was Stroud. It was Stroud for Keenan Allen.
Okay. Then I'm sorry, Keenan Allen.
That's a horrible trade.
Anna's got Waddle and Allen. She's going to be all right.
Yeah, she'll be fine. Yeah, her team's fine. I think. I do.
She's had some up and down weeks. Anna has 2 weeks ago she had 150 points, and this week she had like 60 points.
Okay. Yeah, I think I played against her last week. Yeah.
Aiden, your dad has made the playoffs every year.
Dude, I know. It's like the stat he won't ever let you live down.
Yeah. No, and like then you can look up in our history like who your worst matchup is.
Oh, really?
I'm 1-9 or 1-7 against Ryan.
No
Hey,
way.
My worst one is I'm 0-8 against Aiden.
Against
Really?
you,
That's
Aiden.
crazy.
I've never beat Aiden.
He's
Man,
never
that
beaten you.
that last year tanked me. Like that last year tanked my position. I was averaging second place out of 8 years of playing, and that last year where I didn't make the playoffs and I just quit because I was so upset. I was like, dang it, dude. I was like, I can't believe I missed it. Like that's just so embarrassing. Now my dad's not gonna ever let me live this down, and he hasn't. Of course, he loves.
He won last year.
Oh, he's a talker. He'll let you know. All right, easiest opponent. All right, easiest opponent is you, Ryan. I'm sorry.
No, it's horrible.
Toughest opponent. Oh my God, King Meat. 1-3 against King Meat.
I saw that. Yeah, I was like, really, Matt Nelson? Okay.
I know the people you lose to are the people. It's like Baylor. You know, they play to their opponent. They're this year like if their opponent stinks, they play terrible. If their opponent's good, they play good. It's unreal how Baylor works. It's
yeah. So
the same way.
I have
exactly.
So another guy I was wanting to talk about real quick is Kyle Pitts. I know Dad mentioned it.
Oh, please! I'm just wanting to.
I mean, these last 2 years, it's like hoping, praying that Kyle Pitts will do something. And I mean, every year, every game, it feels like he just kind of just.
It doesn't even feel like he wants to play football. Like
no, I mean, I feel like it's not his fault. It's not his fault. I feel like it's more so just the team is not giving him a chance to perform the way that he should perform.
Jonnu
Smith. Got the answer.
Jonnu Smith got 9 points last week.
Oh yeah, that's their tight end one. That is actually Jonnu Smith is actually a tight end one. But to be fair, I've got the answer. So the answer is they trade Kyle Pitts to the Chiefs for we'll give him a third, fourth rounder. How about that? Give us Kyle Pitts. Have him learn behind Kelsey. He's gonna be the next Kelsey here. He's more athletic and everything than Kelsey. The thing is, I think I can tell you a factor of things, right? Yeah, Arthur Smith, I believe, I don't know if it's the same this year. Last year, they were the most run-heavy team, or top 3 at least. I don't know, same thing. Statistics, not great with it, but I just know that they're an extremely run-heavy team, and it shows. They have a great line for running. That's basically what it is. You've got a quarterback who's below average, I would say at best, in Desmond Ridder, and you've got not a very highly, you spend your last 3 first-round picks on a running back, a tight end, and a receiver, all top 10 picks, something like that. I can't remember. Yeah. Actually, 4, 9, and 8, I think. Yeah. If you spend 3 top 10 picks, you better, get them to produce. And I mean, they're just not crafting up anything for Drake London or Kyle Pitts. I think at this point, Pitts is getting his career wasted in Atlanta, and I genuinely don't. I don't have an answer. I think he's one of the only people that I can't see much of an upside on.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys said that because I'm like, I thought I was on this guy needs to retire and go work at Chick-fil-A or something. But you think he's got talent? You just need.
I'm gonna find you the video I just watched. It was Kyle Pitts absolutely burnt. He got this dude. It's like an ankle breaker, like in basketball when you cross. He did that. I mean, exactly to I think it was the slot corner or something. And he's wide open standing there, and then he doesn't get the ball. I mean, he is wide open. He breaks. I mean, the nastiest route I've seen, and it's from Kyle Pitts. He burns this dude, and then he's like pointing at the dude, laughing.
Ryan, you got to embed this in the podcast.
I gotta find this. Yeah, now I gotta find this.
He's a 6'4", like 250-pound beast who runs routes like he's 110 pounds. So,
all right. So I guess I love Kyle Pitts again.
Nah, it's all right. No, it's all right. And you'll love him more. You'll love him more when he's traded.
Okay, here's my deal though. I have Tyler Algier who had 20 points week 1. Yeah. And then they're like, okay, now we have a round 1 Bijan Robinson. Bye-bye, Tyler. Tyler hasn't touched the ball the last 3 weeks. Thanks. And now who has him?
Not mad about it. I will say I'm not mad about that. I think it was bound to come sooner or later. Let's just call it how it is.
Looking at it, it's like Chris's team is actually better for the trade that he made.
I agree. This is the first time where I'm praying for Chris because I don't want Chris to end up like last year because I like Chris. So it's hard to see him consistently lose each year. And I'm like, man, I feel bad for him. Like last year I did make a trade with him again last year for Najee, and it was when Najee was just doing so. It was like 12 weeks in, Najee was doing awful. I think I gave him Pacheco. This is when Pacheco was averaged projected 5 points a week. Pacheco, and it was like. And it was Deontay Foreman. It was Pacheco and Deontay Foreman. and I got Najee out of him, and Najee never really ended up doing much. He, did a little
No,
better.
I'm pretty sure what happened last year with Isaiah Pacheco was Cooper. No, I picked him up, and then I traded him to Cooper. Cooper, I think, then traded to you, right? Or maybe he might drop.
I think he got passed around. And I think I just picked him up off the waivers. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I picked him up off the waivers.
So then you trade him.
Like
to
week 9.
And then and a waiver, worth trading. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
another situation.
I mean, it definitely is tough to watch Chris like lose every year because I mean he does put a lot of like effort into it. I'm not gonna lie, he's somebody that actually like tries.
I like how he checks his team. We've had some duds in this league, come and go, but I feel like for the most part, 13 of our 14 teams are consistently like checking. Maybe this year 12, but it's because some of the people are off in college in other states and have other priorities. So we're trying to all kind of keep things going, but looking at the top 6, it's still the whites and the shoebox at the moment.
Yeah.
No, I know.
What?
So in the final same projections, it has Aiden at number 1. No, Liam number 1. Liam number 1. Ryan at number 2, and then Aiden at number 3. I'm at 4. Nally's at 5, and then Jagger's at 6. So
I'm really your dad, big shoot. Him with David Montgomery last week, and then this week, oh my gosh, 40 out of the gate with freaking DJ Moore. Tell me he's not talking smack in the house like, look at the smartest guy on the planet.
You gotta live with this guy. I mean, it's great. It's you get to me and Liam. All right, so he wins last year, right? It's his first win. Right? And he makes playoffs every year. First year actually winning. Me and Liam both have 2 consecutive back-to-back years of winning. Like, so me and Liam both have 2 championships, right? But I mean, my dad, he lets us know like he's won every single year of the league. Like he lets us know that like he won. Like it's crazy. It's great getting to talk trash with him. But,
Liam won twice. Aiden, you won 2
twice.
or 3.
He's won twice.
It's 2-2, and my dad now is 1.
2-2. It's a 5 from the shoebox.
And then
1
Jagger,
9-year-old Jagger.
Jagger won. Yeah. Basically, so what happened to Jagger that year is that he just had the entire Bucks team.
The entire Bucks team when they were good. I never thought that worked, and it worked.
Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans,
Fournette.
He just went down the list. It was wild.
And it worked. It somehow worked.
And then he tried doing it last year, and then that didn't work out because
he figured, you get first. Did he get? I think he maybe have gotten last. I don't remember, but I think he ended up towards the bottom. And I think 1 year he got it, and then the next year he didn't. He kind of learned when Tampa Bay was not as good that year.
Yeah,
this year he just came out with like I'm going to get Patrick Mahomes no matter what mentality.
Yep, that was like the 7th overall pick.
Tom Brady, like he lived and died by Tom Brady, and he was okay with that. And now it's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
he's on to the next greatest, latest and greatest thing, and I can't
basically the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's
yeah,
that sounds like it.
All right, so we'll get back to it, and I know we've got some predictions this week.
We just got
a trade just happened. I just saw that a trade just happened. What we got here? It's probably going to be it's between
CJ Stroud and Jaylen Warren for Alvin.
That was a trade. That's
okay.
I mean, I'm sure we're all thinking the same thing here. I'm not super.
Not the best trade, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the nicest way to put it for me.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway. Let's analyze it. How about that? Let's just analyze it.
CJ Stroud and Jaylen Warren.
Let me just say this.
For Alvin Kamara.
So I think Alvin Kamara, honestly, in my opinion, I think he's a little overrated. I don't think he is that good, in my opinion.
Not definitely anymore.
He's definitely had some good years, but like in fantasy terms of this year, I don't feel like in a non-PPR league he's that good. So
And let's
maybe
be honest, Booth's been trying to ship these two guys all day long.
This dude has been praying to get these two guys off. He
long.
traded my brother, which is the weird thing. He wanted Warren. I think that was one of the trades. I think it was Hawkinson and Terry McLaurin for Tua and Jaylen Warren. That was the trade.
Yeah, but I feel like Liam won that trade though. That's my
that's why we told him to take it, because he always runs stuff by my dad, and we're like, why would you not? Like, he ran it between by me and my mom, and we're both like, yes, take that, 100%. You take that.
Yeah,
you take that every day,
all day,
because he has Lamar. I mean, like what's he gonna use Tua for?
Right.
I mean, but this trade,
and also, I'll say Scott's been trying to trade, with other people this past week as well. So
not me.
They're all looking for some deals right now.
I do feel like CJ Stroud has potential though. Like, he's been pretty amazing. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean that's the selling part of the trade, right? With CJ, it's not Jaylen Warren, of course. You're getting, not that I don't think CJ Stroud is on the level of worth trading for Alvin Kamara, but you're.
But will he go?
I guess
will he go into Atlanta and beat the Falcons tomorrow? Probably.
I mean. Yeah. Is it that? I mean, but how impressive is it beating the Falcons at this point?
Yeah, so he's beat Indianapolis, Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh, 3 teams, all with sub 500 records, averaging 25 points a game. It's not bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Scott did need a QB. I mean,
It's true. That is true.
That's starting QBs.
And QBs are at a premium. We have some people that hold 2 or 3 of them in this league.
I'm so upset.
Because we have the 16 total position players. In one of my other PPR leagues, there's only 15 total position players. Still starting guys, which is crazy.
I should have picked up CJ Stroud off the waivers like a week and a half ago, and I could have traded it for Alvin Kamara. That's unfortunate.
Boothe has some really good waiver pickups. I'm not.
I agree. No, that's what I'm saying. I should have done that.
Well, because when you suck, you get the best pickups on the waiver wire order.
All right, let's be nice. Come on.
A lot of negative.
That is being nice. Like, I like him, wheeling and dealing and spending 13 hours on fantasy a day.
What I can say is I do appreciate the Boothe trades. It's like he's like one of the few people who I can actually trade with, who will actively conversate back with the trade. So I'm like, I can appreciate that. I know my dad likes it.
Whenever he tries to trade with me though, it's like he's trying to force me into these trades. I'm like, dude, I'm not.
I've had text like, this is a good deal for you. I need you to go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
that's.
You'll get fired, and have a horrible life if you don't.
The Boothe trade that I made last year for Saquon, I gave up way too much, and I ended up losing the trade. But it was one of those things where we went on for 2 weeks about this trade, almost back and forth every day, constantly monitoring.
I offered Stephon Diggs to your dad straight up for David.
I heard that. Yeah.
He said no.
What?
He said, this is what he said.
And we're not trying to bash people on trades that get, shut down.
You could bash my.
I feel like you really wanted to
bash me and my dad. You could definitely bash me and my dad.
I've got no running backs. None.
Yeah.
Robbie, if you just taken for who? What was the trade? Was it Diggs? Yeah, you could have James Cook, man.
I know, Captain Cook.
Yeah.
All
right. So another player I want to talk about real quick is Anthony Richardson. So in my draft, I picked him in in our league it was the 10th or 11th round. Honestly, I didn't really have any knowledge of him in college or anything. I saw he was 6'4", 250. I mean,
I knew all about him in Florida. I knew he was a great quarterback.
Yeah. I knew he had a lot of injuries. He's already had 2 injuries so far this season, which kind of sucks. But you gotta balance it out a little bit. But in my opinion, he's looking like a top 5 QB. I'm just gonna say it. I think he's a top 5 QB right now in fantasy.
That's pretty bold.
In fantasy, okay. I thought I'm glad you at least ended with fantasy, because that gives you a little bit more credibility to what you had said.
Yeah. I'd say top 10
crazy
fantasy,
statement.
You're getting a little extreme. We could name 5 people out of the gate that are better than him fantasy wise, right?
Let's do it right now. Robbie.
Even Kirk Cousins, so you got Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
And you've got Hurts, right?
Yep.
and you've got Herbert. I would say Herbert's
You got
probably.
Allen. You forgot Allen almost. Allen's like number 1 or 2 or 3.
Josh Allen, right?
So
I'm just gonna say Justin. Hey, I'm just gonna throw Justin Fields in there. Just gonna throw Justin Fields.
Me and Ryan both wanted him, by the way.
These last 2 weeks,
I heard a couple groans.
These last 2 weeks, Justin Fields finally actually did something.
That's fair.
But so all I'm gonna say is, I mean, Anthony Richardson 24 points a game in fantasy in our league, compared to Patrick Mahomes, who averages 23. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
So how do you feel like this new deal with Jonathan Taylor coming into the mix, will that help Anthony and Richardson out? Do you think?
I think it only helps them. I mean, their whole firepower, Michael Pittman becomes all of a sudden a pretty tier 1 again receiver. If they've got to load up the box to stop Jonathan Taylor, and he's every bit of, the man we know he can be, between the tackles, then I think it really opens up the passing game. Richardson could be on for quite a season this year.
Well, I'm just a little scared because I feel like Jonathan could take some of, AR's, touchdowns. Because he's had, I mean, Jesus, like 4 rushing touchdowns already in 3 games. So I'm just saying.
Let's not forget the teams that the Colts play, though, in their schedule are all like pretty loaded.
Yeah. You do have that is true. I wouldn't take that into consideration
in order to be competitive.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about Jonathan Taylor coming back? Do you think he's going to be a top 15 running back just like he was last year, or what's your thoughts on that?
I'd say you just yes or no. Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's immediately a game changer.
I will say yes. I don't think this week is almost so one. This is of course this is an alert because I know you said snap count is not set a lot, but yeah, he will be on a snap count this week, or at least
how many plays did Chris Jones come back and play when he sat out and came back the week after his deal?
That is true. They were going to put him on snap count, but he was killing them. Yeah, I would say he was on there a lot.
I guarantee you, a man that knows his value and is trying to push for a $20 million contract, $30 million. Probably out there hitting some reps.
I don't disagree. I think if there was a chance he was actually injured, I think that might be an actual reason. But you don't want to get him hurt for sure. But if of course it's not exactly, they just needed a reason to put him on there, then I think that, I mean, what are you snap counting him from? I mean, like not playing, just I'm sure he's in great shape, but it's I think maybe it's also against the Tennessee D line. Like it's like top. They're always like their rushing defense is always really good. Like it's their passing defense is awful. So
my bold prediction is the Colts might even make the playoffs this year.
I think they have a really good chance. I think last week they should have won that game. They should have won that game. It's
wide open.
Rams.
Their last 6 games are Raiders, Texans, Falcons, Steelers, Bengals, and Titans. Their last 6 games of the season. All of those teams
don't have an easy schedule. They have an easy schedule.
Yeah.
So another player I'd like to talk about is Deshaun Watson. I know I picked him in the 4th round again. I know I'm just talking about my team real quick, but I'm just looking at my team. So Deshaun Watson, 4th round pick, pretty horrible pick in my opinion. Definitely drafted him way too high.
You spent a 4th rounder on him? Sorry, just asking. Okay.
Yeah.
Aiden could pull up all the other players in the 4th round you could have gotten.
Yeah, I know.
I'll do that.
I've looked at it. I've looked at it.
Yeah, okay.
So, but so I mean, Deshaun, he's had some solid weeks. I mean, he's not playing horrible. He had that first week he had 22 points. Last week 3 he had 24. And then he got hurt. But he's had some productive, fantasy weeks. But with Nick Chubb out, and then you've had some injuries on the O-line. Just a lot of things are kind of compiling right now in Cleveland. Do you guys feel like Deshaun, will he be back to his regular form like he was in 2020? Do you think he's going to be like, middle tier QB the rest of the season? Or, what do you guys feel like Deshaun's, long-term
ceiling is? Yeah, I mean,
is going to be?
I think he's got a ceiling for, mid-tier, maybe week to week based on matchups. Top 10 quarterback, not a top 5. But I'm not so sure the Browns are going to end up with a winning season this year. And I think that probably affects Deshaun's output. I think if they're down big in games, that he's got a big contract, they're going to sit him. If they're losing by 20, I guess I'm just not sold on the Browns being super competitive. I'd rather play Jordan Love or Brock Purdy or Russell Wilson over, Deshaun Watson at this point. I think you get consistency out of all those other three guys. So I don't know. I don't think Deshaun's gonna. I don't think he's got a very high ceiling. If you had to ask me, like what his potential is for the rest of the year.
I think with Deshaun, you have a quarterback who either can, I guess, if he can return to his old self, it's still the same situation. Like I think the game before he got hurt, so not this past week where they had DTR playing and lost pretty bad, but the week before where he, I think that was his best week. The most like him looking like himself almost, I would say from just from that. And I think, maybe had he not got hurt, and I think this could have been a better game. I think his floor is like a top. I don't think he would be worse than a top like 18 quarterback. Like I think he's got a pretty high floor because he rushes quite a bit. I don't think he has like any destructive, just horrible games, but he is pretty off target and he does miss. I think, he needs to hit, one more 60-yard pass touchdown to Amari Cooper to get back to his full self, because he just doesn't have the same explosive. He's just not hitting the same passes. It's just it still looks like he's rusty and just not where he used to be. But I think, I think you got to keep starting if he's healthy. But I would probably start him over I don't know, like over a Joshua Dobbs, like a CJ Stroud. I'd probably start him over. I would, like that.
I'll tell you this though: the week that Ryan lost to your dad by a point, that game was impossible to stomach. How bad Deshaun Watson.
That was probably
fumbles, interceptions.
Which game? Sorry, which who did they play against that week again?
So they played the Steelers. They played at Pittsburgh.
That one was awful.
Awful.
That was such a free win. But
I was watching the game. Like I wasn't even watching the game. I was looking at the fancy cast. I was watching it that way, and as soon as I saw Deshaun Watson fumble, I was like, it's a night. So pretty mad. I mean, I've only lost by 1 point so far this year. I'm not trying to crown myself king or anything. I'm just saying
90, what was it, 94, 93?
It was like 91-90.
Yeah.
And if I would start Anthony Richardson that week, I would have won because he had 17 points in one quarter.
But he got hurt in the first half, and you're already saying, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I started Deshaun.
I know, yeah.
And then in hindsight, he knew the game.
I felt like I was going to lose.
The week before, Josh Allen helps Natalie win by 2 points over Boothe, 45-43.
40. Oh, I remember that was like the first week too. That was pretty rough.
So bad.
Yeah. So
I was. Oh, my bad. So go
ahead.
No, I was just going through the matchups of the week and like everything, and I just noticed that I didn't think David Montgomery he's projected quite high this week. I guess when they're playing against the 32nd ranked, or at least near that, I think Carolina like rush defense. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, because they just run him into the ground. They'll be up 20 and he's running it out.
Yeah. Do you guys think that the Jaguars have any chance against the Bills in the morning?
No.
Honestly, I feel like if Trevor Lawrence can pull together, make some plays, be a little more consistent, I feel like they have a chance. But also that defense, who, in my opinion, is not very consistent at all. If they can maybe pull in some stops, like just third down stops, not any interceptions or anything, just turnovers, just third down stops. I mean, I feel like they have a solid chance.
The weird thing is I start looking at these lines, right? The line actually, I think, started or opened up at 6, and it's like kind of moving backwards, 5.5, 5. So I think Vegas knows something we don't. I don't know if this is a Jaguars home game or not, but I think we could be looking at being
upset
final possession
right now.
A final possession game, right? Like,
the thing I don't understand is why is Jacksonville always picked to be in the London games?
I don't know.
Why are they always picked? Like, why can't it be?
I think it's a deal or something. Yeah, because I think it's got to be a deal or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just confused. I was like, Okay, it's like every
So,
time.
Robby, what I'm hearing is that you're pretty confident that the Bills would beat or that the Bills might, there's gonna be an upset. Bills lose tomorrow against the Jags. You thinking so?
Not confident, but if I had to put money on that line, I'd probably lay it down if the Bills win by 3 or less.
All right, so mortgage on the line, right? You got Bills 3 or less.
Mortgage on the line.
Mortgage on the line.
If
right
I
now,
weren't in the
right?
house that I was in, maybe.
Hey, you could have 2 houses if you're right.
That's right.
Think about it. Think about it like that. Yeah.
I'm just saying when you wake up and it's 9:30 in the morning tomorrow, and you see that the Jaguars and Bills are tied at
it's 8:30. It's at 8:30.
17 or 20 at half, then just know that it's probably going to come down to the wire.
Yeah.
Would you get up at 8:30 a.m. to watch this, or
I got up at 8:30 today to watch it. He thought it was today. He was so excited.
Wait, who did?
Me. I did.
Little Ryan.
Oh. Yeah. I do that too. I get excited when I know it's an NFL game. My day gets much better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's why, so since I'm a college student, I don't know if you got this too, but I got the Redzone thing.
How much did you pay for that?
It was about $110.
$100.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so I let my so I'm the $100 league I'm in. I let it's my roommate's older brother. He's like 24, like we know him. He's and so I let his younger brother, my roommate's younger brother, use my student ID because I just watch it off Stream East. So I watched Redzone just off Stream East, and I just call it a day.
Yeah. No, it's
the Redzone thing. That's the first time I watched it, and it's hard to leave the living room.
It is. I can't.
Nonstop. I'm like, I'm leaving this way, and I'm like coming back. Like, what is happening here? You can't leave.
I mean, plus we got a Sunday ticket too. We got Redzone and Sunday tickets, so we can watch any game.
That's great.
Yeah.
I got to show you my setup. I've got 3 monitors on my PC, right? I just got another 27-inch for my birthday monitor, right? So I got 3 monitors. I can fit like 2 games on my like 27-inch screen. I've got I wish I could show you, but I've got it's a little too dark. But I have my 50-inch TV right at my bed, and then I've got the other TV.
Nice.
Yeah.
So a lot of airplay on the screens.
Yeah.
And so a lot of streaming and a lot of airplay.
That's awesome.
So another player, I mean, I keep on mentioning players, but this is fun to talk about. So Jaylen Waddle, this guy, I mean, last year he blew up. This year so far, he's been kind of on the down low. He hasn't been playing the best. He's had 7 points, 8 points, and then 4 points. This week he's supposed to be healthy this week. I mean, I know he's been battling some injuries. But I mean, what do you guys think? Is he gonna be this week? You think he's gonna blow up? Is he gonna have a good game? I mean, he has not had the greatest season so far. So I'm a little concerned about him. How do you guys feel about him?
I think he's better than Michael Thomas. I think he's better than, half the guys that you might start as your, wide receiver 1. So if I had him on my team, would I start him? 100%. Like, this guy's, what I think is a replica of Jamar Chase, but with a better quarterback, right? Like, Tua loves to launch that ball down the field, and Waddle's going to be the beneficiary. Tyreek Hill is going to be the beneficiary. It's like those guys stretch the field, they're running all over the place, and I think that he's just way too dynamic to even consider not starting.
Yeah. I think at least the matchup is favorable for the week just because they're playing the Giants. So I think the Giants, that whole team is kind of just a dumpster fire this year. It's like so bad. And especially I mean I think that defense, what they're gonna do, they're gonna try and double Tyreek. So I think Waddle is set for a bigger week this week than maybe at least last week.
See they did trade for Chase Claypool as well. The Dolphins did. So now they have, I mean, Jesus, they got like 10 tight ends wide receivers on that team that, can all make plays. So they're pretty stacked. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. So Dad, I know your team, you have Miles Sanders.
I hate him.
Can you talk about him for a second? Like, why?
Panthers are
playing
so Miles Sanders sucks. I don't want to talk about him. He's the worst running back on the planet.
Preach.
But I don't have anyone else to start, so he's my RB1, and I'm just praying like hell that he does anything. This week.
Yeah, I mean that whole entire Panthers offense is like, God, it's
Because their quarterback is horrible. Like they got
yeah.
no quarterback. You got no quarterback. You got no chance in the NFL.
Well, I mean, I do feel like Adam Thielen, he's probably the best player on offensively on that team, in my opinion.
He's the only one that can get them first down
Right.
consistently.
Because
Like
Yeah.
he's always open. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bryce Young, he definitely has a way to go. I mean, the guy's only like 5'10", so you gotta give him a break at least. But I do feel like over time, Bryce will probably get better. I mean, there's definitely gonna be some hardships this first season for him. So, you know, you have to wait a couple seasons for him to finally,
I guess the one benefit is, he's gotten, better each week with his completion percentage. If you can complete passes, then you're a little bit more favorable to, help your team, set up the run, whatever you need to help your team be successful. But I think the Panthers in particular are going to be sitting at 0-6 after playing the Dolphins next week. And you're going to start talking about hearing their coach maybe getting fired. I mean, this is awful start.
Honestly, I did not think Frank Reich
Frank Reich,
was a good
He's
head
gone.
coach, hire in the first place.
Yeah, no, he's gone.
Yeah. So, but so in your guys' eyes, what has been the biggest fantasy surprise so far this season?
I'll let you go, Robby.
That's a big question.
I know it is a big question.
I just thought of it. I was like, this is an amazing question. This
is a good question.
So here's the thing, that when you did your first podcast and you started talking about the Lions, I think the Lions are a pretty fun surprise this year. Yeah. Jared Goff is a good quarterback. The offense and the defenses are both loaded up. David Montgomery has monster games. Like
Sam Laporte,
Amon-Ra St. Brown is unbelievable. They have more talent coming back from the guy that was suspended, whatever his name is.
Jameson Williams.
Yeah, Jameson Williams coming back. Their defense is a little banged up right now, but like they've got a head coach that fires these guys up every week. And so I just think anybody on the Detroit Lions team is like going to get you points, this year, which is an interesting storyline for me. Like, I wish I would have drafted Jagger's mentality draft just from the top. David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, just go through the list. I think you'd be in a good position if you did.
Yeah.
I would have to say, at least for like fantasy relevance, I would say how good did you guys think the Rams would be this year? Like I personally thought the Rams were honestly like devoid of just skill, devoid of
one of the worst teams in the NFL. You're right.
I thought it was going to be a tank for Caleb type year, and I would say I'm pleasantly surprised with the fact that Kupp's absence, like them being able to bring two new like superstars, at least this year for fantasy, I would say that's probably my biggest surprise, is them being able to actually like consistently for 4 weeks without Cooper Kupp, find a workhorse running back one, almost like just an almost startable wide receiver one in Puka.
Yeah, dude, Kyron Williams, he's looking like,
he's going to be a top 12 pick next year probably. When we go back to pre-draft, the workload that he's getting, there was 2 weeks ago, I think he played 100% of the offensive snaps, which for running back, that's insane. Like, and it's not PPR, and he's a very skilled PPR player, because he does a lot of pass catching out from. So Matt Stafford doesn't have to run, but I mean it's two good players that I can't. I'm excited to see how it's going to be with Kupp back too.
I guess we just kind of under like appreciated that Sean McVay is like a super competitive guy and would make sure he's got a competitive team out there.
Yeah, he doesn't want to lose. Yeah, he doesn't want to lose. But another player I was really actually just saw on my thing, DeAndre Hopkins, and he's somebody that was a little overhyped in my opinion starting this season. I mean, I knew that Ryan Tannehill was not the best QB. He's definitely proved that so far this year. But how do you guys? I mean, would you guys feel like trading him if you had him on your team? Would you trade him right now? I mean, there's not much value in him, but I think because he's such a big name, there could be some value from that.
I will start with, I think, first of all, you're not going to get much value for D-Hop, of course. That's probably the first things that, like if you were to throw out like choose someone on your team, Robby, like same thing with you, Ryan. Like who's someone that you think on your team would be like within the range of actually like it's a decent trade, like it is an almost equal trade, like you feel like you didn't win or lose. Who's someone do you think of similar value that you could see trading for?
Tyler Algier,
probably Michael Thomas, probably.
Yeah. See, like players who are like, I mean, that's like wide receiver 3 type thing. I don't
Watson,
think
yeah,
and of course, and then you also have he's a good player. He's a good player, of course, with age, but he's in an offense that's so one run heavy, and two, you've got such an awful quarterback that's he's not gonna do.
At what point do they just let Derrick Henry start being the quarterback full time? Run pass option, like
I like it. I don't think it's an idea. I also think that it's also it's also a conversation of do they start moving towards like a Malik Willis or a what's the guy Will Levis, like what if do they I'm sure I think in about 2 to 3 weeks, if the Titans are like 1-2 or 0-3, I think that's gonna start being the conversation because their team is it's supposed to be one of those that are built to win now with the addition of D-Hop. Like it's stuff like that, thinking they have a decent defense and then just nothing really ending up working their way. I think it's one of those things that he could see maybe in the next couple of weeks, depending on if there's a quarterback change. I think that could maybe give some more value to D-Hop. But I think like right now with Tannehill as your quarterback, you're not really getting much. So I would say you kind of just have to hold. I don't know if you'd really even start him, but I think it's maybe, if you're desperate, you can probably start them. And if not, I would say you probably just hold them until maybe there's a quarterback switch, or unless someone's really willing to sell something to you, or, give something to you that's, that you think is a steal for giving up D-Hop.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things.
I do feel like DeAndre Hopkins and the Titans offense is like the only good player on that offense is Derrick Henry, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know DeAndre Hopkins has talent. He's an amazing wide receiver, but he's not going to get the ball with Ryan Tannehill. That's just how it's going to be. He might get probably 3 or 4 catches a game maybe, but besides that, it's like, there ain't much you can go off of. So
no, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
I think the more interesting game on Sunday night is the 49ers Cowboys. I think that one could go any number of directions. I'm kind of scared it could, be one of those back and forth games with the Cowboys. I don't, they're at home, the 49ers, so I'm hoping 49ers kind of pull it out. If you had to get a score out of me, I think the 49ers win 33,
All right. Hold
24.
on. Jesus. God.
Yeah. What?
Is that a question?
Down,
I was ready to give it up too. Yeah.
So let's go into some games. Let's do some predictions real quick.
All right.
So like you guys said, Jaguars, Bills, first game tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. How you guys feeling on that game? Which team do you have?
I got Bills by 3. I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
I'll go Bills by touchdown. I go Bills by 7.
I'm gonna say 31-28.
Okay.
I'll go third. Actually, yeah, give me 31-24.
Okay, I'm gonna go Bills. 31-20. 31-20. Bills.
Okay. I think you're both wrong. I think it's more chance. I'm not putting mortgage on it. That
mortgage. Well, so, you seem real confident by telling us that
McManus could be kicking the game winner instead of
all right.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo's kicker.
Tyler Bass.
Yeah, that's right. All right, go ahead, Ryan.
So Titans, Colts. We have Colts at home versus Titans. In my opinion, I think Colts are gonna win this game by 20 points, maybe. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a blowout. Colts win by 15, 20 points. You got Anthony Richardson at home. You got John Taylor coming back. It looks too obvious in my opinion, but what do you guys think?
23-10 Colts. I think they win by double digits.
I'm gonna go. It's in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
I gotta give me 1 second to check one thing out because I think there's only one factor that could persuade me to go the other way, and I'm thinking it is. Oh my god, I keep doing this. All right, I have to go. I think the Titans will win by 3. I'll say it. I think Titans win by 3. I go Titans by 3. Yeah, 20-23.
They do have a good like run defense.
They did also beat, they did beat the Bengals. Not that it means much, but they did beat the Bengals 24-3 last week. So
yeah,
Okay.
I'm as much of a Titans disliker I am. I think the Colts might need to give it another week. I think the Colts will easily win next time. It's one of those things where I think I got to go with maybe this one.
Yeah. Next up, we have Saints at New England Patriots. This is kind of a tight matchup. I mean, the Patriots have been stinking so far this year, but what do you guys think? I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna start off and say, I think Patriots win this game. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. There ain't gonna be many touchdowns.
Low scoring, yeah. If there's an under in this, even if it's 38,
like 30. It's like 35 or something. I'm going. I'm going Saints 17-13.
I was gonna say 17-14.
Yep.
And probably Saints.
I'm gonna say 2017 Patriots. Next up we have Ravens at Pittsburgh.
Ooh, that's a
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's a rivalry there.
To me, this is kind of an obvious one. I feel like Ravens are probably gonna blow the Steelers. I mean, not blow them out, but like it's gonna be kind of a easy win in my opinion for the Ravens. The Steelers do have really good defense, but you kind of saw with the 49ers what they did to the Steelers at home. So I'm just saying.
These two teams know each other too well for one to blow out the other. Even though the Steelers aren't in the same category as the Ravens, I'm going to say, I would probably take the Steelers in this game. I'm going to go 28-24 Steelers.
I'm going 34-21 Ravens.
That's fine. We'll see.
I'm gonna say
that's crazy. That's crazy. You said Steelers. Sorry.
I'm gonna say 34-17.
Yeah, you got
that was my other score. It was either 20. It was either like 20 or 17. Yeah, that's a crazy pick, Robby. I'll give you mortgage on that one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's do some primetime games. Let's do Cowboys 49ers. How you guys feeling about that one?
Ooh.
I already said it. I think it's a probably one of those 31-27 games, 49ers by 4. I think the Cowboys defense, they've got the defensive MVP Parsons on their side of the ball. They're going to disrupt the 49ers enough just to keep it close. But I think there's just too much offensive firepower with the 49ers. Their defense is, up to the challenge and keeping people under 25 week after week. So I still think the 49ers pull it out tomorrow.
I got 26-20 49ers.
Okay.
I'm going to go
that.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely could be a close game, but I just feel like 49ers are too good, like defensively and offensively. So I'm gonna go 31-20 49ers.
That would have been my second choice. I think Cowboys as much as I hate them, I think they maybe can pull it around and win by.
I don't know when the 49ers are I don't know when they're gonna lose their first game. Maybe at Seattle, at the Eagles, week 12, 13.
Like them and the Eagles to both lose if possible. So
next one we have Monday Night Football. We got Packers at Las Vegas. Kind of two okay mediocre teams. What do you guys feel about that one? Jimmy G is supposed to be back.
Nothing. I feel nothing at that game.
Yes, I got 23-20 Packers. I guess.
Give me Aiden score 23-20 Packers.
I'm gonna say 23-20 Packers as well.
Wow, that's
we're all going with the same score.
I think with this amount of confidence we could put some money on that.
Yeah, we might have to. Yeah. There's one more really good game I like. It's Eagles at LA Rams. How you guys feel about that one?
That's a good game.
It's gonna be a close game in my opinion.
Now that we know the Rams are.
Plus, you have Cooper Kupp coming back, so offensively, it could be a high-scoring game.
What an interesting line! It's just like that Bills Jaguars line. It's just kind of stayed steady, or even kind of creep towards 0.
Yeah.
Eagles Rams. What if we did a? Do they have double overtime? They only have single overtime, right?
Yeah, they just
got
one.
They do have single overtime.
Let's say an overtime game. I'm going to go 37-31 straight up Rams over the Eagles. High scoring game.
I'll go with 30, 36, 26 Eagles.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 34-28 Rams.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
All
it's
right.
gonna go to overtime.
I'd love to see a Rams win.
Let's see it.
I would too.
All right.
Last one for us. Chiefs at Vikings. How you guys feeling about that one?
Give me a sec. Let me think. Let me think of everything that's happening. I feel like
because Vikings, they're a solid team. Okay,
Chiefs
they've had some bad losses. You know what I mean?
Chiefs are favored by 3.5.
Really?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. That's kind of embarrassing. I feel like if is it in Minnesota?
Yeah, it's in Minnesota.
That's even then it's still embarrassing to be a 3.5 favorite against the
Vikings.
I mean,
you guys beat the Jets by 3 points.
I know.
Right?
That's why it's embarrassing, is because it was not a good. Okay, but I think this week, my boy Patty, he will definitely turn it around. He will. It's against the Vikings pass defense, which is it's very very poor, and so I'm gonna go 37. I'm going 37-21. Chiefs.
I'm gonna go.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I'm gonna go 37-28 Chiefs. I think
you guys are gonna think I'm crazy. I'm gonna go 2017 Chiefs. A repeat of Week 1 where the Buccaneers came into Minneapolis and won by 3. Pretty low scoring game. I would do the under in this game as well.
Interesting.
Okay. So you think Mahomes is on par with Baker? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think Mahomes and Baker in the same category at this point.
All right. That's all you need to say. I just needed to hear it out of your mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
What about 2017?
I'll give you a text when I'll give you a text if it's different score.
This was fun though, guys.
I mean, I appreciate you guys coming on. We should do this every week. I think it would be pretty fun.
I'm down for whatever. So thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Thanks for the invite and everything. It was a good time.
Roger Federer that.
Roger Federer that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. If you guys can, please like and subscribe to the podcast, and also follow us on Instagram, and go check out Aiden. Do you have Twitter, Aiden?
I don't, but I'll just shout yourself out again. Just do that twice.
All right. Yeah. Shout myself out. Shout out Robby.
Follow Aiden, Oversized Owl. Follow Robbie, Oversized Owl. Follow Ryan.
All right. There you go.